Hey bronies, it's me, it's Clayton again. You know when an episode comes out and it has a message that's really relatable for what you're going through right now? I don't know if any of you bronies have had this happen to you, but that's what happened to me when it came to this episode, though it came more with my job as a lifeguard rather than any experience I've had as a Marine, because I've never been in the military. Anyways, Newbie Dash. This episode revolves around Rainbow Dash finally being in the member of the full-fledged Wonderbolts. She's been in the reserves for quite a while now, and now that she's finally a member of the Wonderbolts, how does she make her first impression? By landing in a garbage can. No, really, that's what happens. And it unfortunately earns her the unfortunate nickname known as Rainbow Crash, which, I don't know if you know this, but it was the nickname that those bullies gave to her during the first season of My Little Pony. Yeah. So now that nickname has come back to haunt her, and Rainbow Dash has to spend the majority of the episode trying to convince the Wonderbolts to stop calling her that name and to actually treat her with respect rather than with, just in a way, rather than just treating her like a punchline. When I first saw this episode, I thought it would be one of my least favorite episodes of the entire season because I felt it was really mean-spirited in a lot of ways. But then, after finding out that Air Force pilots often get called embarrassing nicknames when they screw up to remind them of the screw-ups they won't, screw up again, I actually understood this episode's tone and what it was going for. I understood that the episode was about how the nickname doesn't really mean you're a horrible person, or that the people somehow think you're the worst one ever just because they gave you an embarrassing nickname. Sort of like how at my job, I, unfortunately, like Rainbow Dash, constantly screw up, and my manager always gets on my case throughout the days. And at first I was thinking, oh my god, I'm going to get fired, or oh my god, when are you going to stop calling me names? But as it turns out, when I unfortunately sort of got mad at all of my coworkers, my manager explained to me that the whole nickname thing was really just something that he does for everybody. And the same thing happens in this episode. It's not just Rainbow Dash who ends up with an embarrassing nickname to remind her of her embarrassing first day fail. It's everyone. But I will say that's one of the many reasons that I don't want to be part of the military. No offense. Because I hate being made fun of, and I hate doing those routines, and I especially hate the locker room ganging up mentality of the Wonderbolts, as well as the Air Force. I still don't really like the Wonderbolts as main characters in episodes, but I at least understand why they act the way they do. Some fans might get a little ticked that Rainbow Dash got punished at the end of the episode, but it's similar to how I feel about the punishment in Wonderbolt Academy back in Season 3, where Lightning Dust, went off the radar and used a tornado, which not only endangered the other Wonderbolts, but several other non-Pegasi ponies who were, there, who showed up, and she was kicked out of the Wonderbolts. Air Force pilots have been sent to jail for less. So this one really seemed like it was not that bad in comparison. Plus, Spitfire does still have her mean-spirited moments in this episode, but in my opinion, she's tough but fair, in a way that I've seen a lot of military generals act. And considering that the Wonderbolts are this universe's version of the Blue Angels, or the Air Force, if you will, either one, it makes sense that they'd act that way. And when you put that out of the way, the humor's pretty good. I especially liked the parts where Rainbow Dash impersonated the other characters. What is it with this season and the ponies imitating themselves? First we had Rarity imitating Pinkie Pie in The Gift of Maud Pie. Now we have Rainbow Dash mimicking Twilight Sparkle, Applejack, Pinkie Pie, Rarity, and Fluttershy, all in just a couple of scenes. How can you not get sucked into the humor? Not to mention, I really liked the animation in this episode. I mean, it's always fun to see pretty flying scenes in My Little Pony. I might have to borrow a joke from Bum Reviews for this, but yeah! Yeah, there are a lot of those in this episode. Mixed in with pretty slapstick comedy scenes. That gives the animation quite a bit of fun to it. Plus the different animations for Rainbow Dash's face and the different ways she flicks up her mane to highlight when she's acting like one of the main characters other than her is also rather good. Now, like I said, I felt that this episode's tone was quite mean-spirited throughout, but I've become sort of accustomed to that as far as Wonderbolt episodes are concerned. Sometimes it works out, like in Wonderbolt Academy, and sometimes it falls flat on its face, like with Rainbow Falls. In this one, I felt it was more like Wonderbolt Academy. It was kind of tough to sit through at points, but it had enough good comedy and enough good character moments, as well as a good message to balance it out. And considering that this episode was written by a new writer, Dave Rapp, I expect him to improve his writing as the series goes along. I mean, the story was also written by Dave Polsky, who is a mixed writer in my opinion, but I just hope Dave improves his craft as he goes along. This is his first episode, so I won't, judge him entirely based on this one, but let's just say I might give him a little bit of a hard time based on the other episodes if this is the same quality that he's giving us. Not that this episode was bad, though, so Dave Rapp, if you're watching this, this isn't a horrible effort on your part. And that's why I give Newbie Dash a 7.5 out of 10. It's not really incredible, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse, especially considering the characters involved. So I gotta give him credit for at least trying. Because Dave Rapp, if you screw up again, I might give you an embarrassing nickname. Dave, give me a minute to think about one. See you next time.